The bank bids $218,330.
Oh, you made something.
Well, you probably put down
Okay,
payment.
so I have a bid from the bank of $218,530. I need $219,000.
Wow, that was a crazy bank bid. But there's a reason why the banks are bidding, and I wanted to talk about that now because it's a question we're getting often a lot on the channel. And so we're going to go over that today. And if you like content like this, make sure you hit that bell icon because it tells YouTube we're awesome. And you guys think so. Because guess what? We're coming out with 2 new videos every week. So one of the most misunderstood things I think that people don't understand is that banks don't own the property. You bought the property, or the person that's getting foreclosed, they own the property, but the banks gave the loan to the property. So they actually have to recoup their costs. They have to do this process called a foreclosure for them to be able to get back their money. Of course, they're going to be bidding at the property. So they're going to come to the auction, and they're going to represent their interest in the property. So if they were loaned out, say $100,000, they then had basically a deed was recorded, and a part of that is also the mortgage note, and that then basically there's interest and all that kind of stuff. And if you default on that note, there's a remedy for the bank to basically get back their money. And of course also their fees. They're going to charge for the actual foreclosure process, the lawyers to do this, any back owed interest and the fees and all that stuff. So it adds up. So that's why sometimes if you see that, oh wow, there's the note's pretty young, maybe it was only a year or two old, and it seems like the bank bid was much higher. Well, because they had to maybe file for the eviction. So that was maybe, let's see, they got the recording in the newspaper. That's a couple $1,000s. They then had to have a lawyer do it. Maybe that's another $10,000, $20,000. They then had, all the fees and stuff like that they're allowed to charge. So now you're looking at, whereas the price was maybe $100,000, it's now maybe $120,000, $130,000, that they're bidding. It's because they're bidding their total interest in that property. And this is, once again, is the only remedy they have to get back their money, because they don't own the property and they won't own it even after the auction. So let's just say, like so many, like you saw early on, where they actually were bidding quite a high number, I thought, but it was far more than I want to do. They are now going to have, they still don't own the property that day. They then have to record it. So they've won the auction, and then it has to go back to the lawyers and get recorded. Once it's recorded, that's when they actually take possession of the property. Just like when you buy a property, even if you win it at the foreclosure auction, you have an interest in the property, but you don't own the property yet. You still have to go through all the lawyers, pay the money, and then basically get recorded. Then you are the owner. That's when you can actually walk in on the property. So it's a misunderstanding that, oh my God, these banks are bidding and they already own the property. Why are they bidding? They shouldn't be allowed to bid. That's crazy. Well, it's not crazy. It's the legal process that they have for recouping their money. And while I don't agree with everything the banks say or do, but this is a process, and there needs to be a process for them to recoup their money. It only makes sense. They're giving out hundreds of thousands, trillions of dollars in all these notes. There has to be a way for them to get their money back. Otherwise, why would they do it? They're going to lend money that they can never, ever get back if you default. That doesn't seem logical. All those you guys watching this, and just understand that this is a process, and that's why the banks have to bid. And it's a really important process of the whole owning a house in the foreclosure. It's a full cycle, and you can't break that cycle. The banks are part of it, and it's really important that they have this so that they can recoup their money. Otherwise, my guess is interest rates would go through the roof, because they would be charging so much money if they could not actually recoup their money through a foreclosure, that they'd have to charge tons of money at the interest just so that they can offset the chances when the loans actually eventually default. So let's go check on this property. This is one that we won. Now, the banks did bid, and they had to bid their money, but we bid above them. Therefore, they got refunded their money that they were interested, and then we basically were paid a little bit more. Now, that's one thing to know, is if there's excess funds at a foreclosure auction, what happens is that excess funds goes to the next lien holder. And we talked about this on our channel a little bit before. So for instance, I don't recall exactly what this bid was, but if there was an extra $20,000 that we bid over the bank's bid, that excess money would go, if there's a second mortgage, it'd go to them. If not, and there's no other lien holders, that actually goes to the former owner. They get to collect that money. So generally the bank has a process for sending the money to them so that they then have that excess funds. One question I had though is it seems like in Connecticut, which is a judicial state, it's a little different, and I'm not sure what the process is. It seems like there might be a ton of funds sitting for that people have overbid, and I don't think that everyone knows necessarily to go reach out to the court after the auction to find out how to get the access to their funds. So there's a curious thing on how that's working. But here we got this little single family house. It's kind of cute. We're changing out the windows. This one was owner occupied when we got it. Like I said, the bank did bid, but we beat them out on that one. So we're turning this over and renovating it to get this back on the market. We actually have some interested buyers. We had popped the sign out and they actually reached out to us already. We are waiting till we're a little further along to take them in, but they are very interested and eager to be, kind of have a first right of refusal of getting this property before anyone else. So we might sell this one before it even hits the market. You can see here we have this beautiful homeowner special where they've got double shower heads. They had 2 shower heads here, so they had 4 shower heads, by the way, and then they got 2 shower valves. So I'm trying to figure out finding the tile to basically remove one, only have 1 shower head, and then just replace the tile, because otherwise the tile is in great shape. I don't want to all of a sudden cut it out and have the extra expense, so we're trying to figure that out. But we're moving forward with it. It's going well, and this is also the one that we've had a lot of issues in the basement. So let's go check this out. This is a little unique one down here. It's flooded a couple times. It has a sump pump over there that failed, and here's a floating washer machine down here. So this is the wood-fired gravity-fed furnace that is here. So basically, you pop some firewood in this baby. So you pop a little firewood in there. And I don't even think now. So, oh, it does. I apologize. So it's not gravity fed. I thought it actually just, as heat would rise. There is a blower motor on the bottom, too. It's shot now. So we're gonna, replace this. But this is the beauty that was. I don't think the guy ever used it. But this was what was down there. So we're trying to, I don't know why he trenched out all this. So we're just kind of putting rock in, and we're gonna pour it back in and kind of clean it up so that it naturally drains a little bit better. We're gonna pop in a propane tank, and we're gonna put a brand new furnace, all new ductwork, and just redo the whole thing. We'll also add AC at the time. Now it'll be more functional. You can see, look at this. He jackhammered this up. I don't know what he was doing. He made a mess of the place. So got the sump pump here. So we're just trying to get this all, kind of cleaned up and organized. You got a well pump here that seems to be working well. We got plenty of water, not a problem here. Not to mention the rain. But yeah, things are cranking away here. We're hoping to finish up and get this thing possibly to that new homeowner in the next, maybe 3 weeks. I'm going on vacation now, so I'm hoping when I come back, it'll be mostly done. We can do an update video then, Jeff. This is another one where, once again, the bank bids. The bank's always going to bid at auctions because they have an interest in the property, so they need to at least bid their lien amount. Now, some crazy things happen when, and this is one of the reasons why we'll look at the mortgage amounts. So we'll take the time to go and, go into the registry of deeds and find, okay, this property, let's just say, there, you can kind of look at and find when the mortgage that is actually that's foreclosing, so that the one that actually put the order of notice out, and we kind of backtrack and just basically do a simple title search. And we'll look at, all right, so this one that's foreclosing, well, the note was from 2018, and it was $200,000. I'm just throwing numbers out there. It's not accurate for this one, but just throwing numbers out there. And so that gives us a rough idea of what we think they might be, but who knows what could have happened. We don't know how much the person put down or paid off necessarily. Maybe they stopped making payments right away. Maybe they, made quite a few payments. Maybe they didn't pay the taxes. Maybe the bank had to pay the taxes to keep their interest in line. So that's also what the banks will do, is they're going to make sure that they're often paying the insurance and the taxes. So if you default, for instance, on not keeping your insurance active, they'll force place insurance as well as if you're not paying taxes. They don't want it to go in tax title because then they'll lose their interest because, once again, being priority, taxes are number one. So the bank can get wiped away if the taxes aren't paid. So they'll often pay those. They'll tack that onto your bill as well, not to mention processing fees, fines, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of, reason why and what the banks will come to the number. But sometimes, like that $200 house, which Jeff's going to link to right here, we won for $200. I was still flabbergasted, but I'm not sure what happened. Sometimes maybe the banks just got paid by the insurance company. They knew it was defaulted because they do have insurance on these loans. And so maybe they got paid out and they're just done with it and they just don't want to hold the property, didn't want anything to do with it. It was quite a hoarder house. So there's no rhyme or reason necessarily what the bank's going to bid. I just know the bank will bid, and they're going to have some kind of lien interest. We found it's a good rule of thumb to have a rough idea of what the bank's mortgage was and what the year was, and have a rough idea of what the bank's interest might be. But honestly, I've been doing this for now, buying at foreclosures probably over 8 years. I'm probably on 9 years right now, and I have not found a rhyme or reason. I'll go to an auction and it seems like I was just at one just the other day, and the note was a really new note. So, it should have been for the most amount, the full amount. I think it was a $400,000 note from 2022. So I'm thinking, all right, it's going to be $410,000. The bid was $200,000. I don't get how that was. I was happy about it, but still it didn't make sense. So how that all played out, but for some reason something happened that unfortunately I'm not privy to. But that's why I go to all the auctions, because I don't know what the bid's going to do. Maybe they want to let this go. Maybe they know something I don't know about the property. I don't know. But it's important to go to every auction you possibly can, because you never know which one is going to be a killer deal. If you check out Foreclosures Unlocked on Amazon, you'll know more about foreclosure auctions, because there are some great stories that we had some great reviews by actually some of our auctioneers that were touting about how amazing the book was. Thank you, Frank, by the way. He's one of our great auctioneers locally here, and he was just raving about the book. So if you get a chance, check it out. If you like it, make sure you leave a great review on Amazon. If you don't like it, I don't want to know about it. I'm just kidding. But we really appreciate you guys joining the channel. And if you have any questions about banks foreclosing, you want to know about this project, anything like that, leave a comment below, and we'll try to answer as many of them as we can. Thanks a lot.